Today we're going to look at a simple analysis of the plot, the characters, the setting, and some of the themes of Tijan and his brothers. Walcott's world and the play. Please stay connected for more as we will continue to look at the series of books, poems, and short stories that will appear on the CSEC exam. Understanding Walcott's reasons for the play. That's the first thing we're going to start with. Within this play, there is the African art of storytelling that is a part of Walcott's tradition, and these stem from his memories of the fireflies in the rainforest at dusk, the rains and the winds and the leaves, and the chants of the Caribbean folktales that speaks to his tribal memories. Not much of the play is just about our African culture and traditions. It's specifically about the St. Lucian rituals, which also influence Walcott's memories, especially the black mass dancing of Papa Diable and his imps, the fetus or bolum, and the melodies that were unique to the culture. To introduce his folktale, Walcott uses forest creatures, the frog, cricket, firefly, and bird, and these are animal imagery that helps to bring out the humor and the sarcasm that Walcott wants us to see about what is happening around him. The use of animals in this folktale is similar to that of the Greek tragedies or drama. Aristophanes once used a chorus of frogs, and so Walcott pays tribute to the Greek dramatic elements in his opening scenes. The frog says, "Creak, Greek croak, Greek croak." Cricket also repeats this and says, "Greek croak, Greek croak." But when the frog sneezes, he goes, "Achilles me," which is also a reference to the Greeks. The mood, the setting, and the characters. Here in the play, the mood is festive and playful. At the start of the play, we realize that it is festive and playful. The readers are now prepared for an entertaining and magical world where the animals have the ability to talk. The devil also appears in different forms and shapes, and then there is the fetus bolum that becomes the unwilling messenger of the doom that will befall the family. Now, Walcott was not the only one, or still is not the only playwright who has used animals to bring across the social issues or to criticize then the social conditions that exist within the society at one point or the world in which Walcott's play is interesting. Along with the creatures who can speak, the readers see poverty as the epitome of the marginal existence of people. Yet these poor people have faith that surpasses the ordinary, and these people also show strength that allows them to overcome the evil that exists in the society. In addition, one can also see a world where innocence and instincts are important, as these qualities allow for victory and triumph against the evil forces. The faith that each of these sons have leads them out there to try to alleviate their status as being poor. But each has a different outcome, and this is important because Walcott tries to teach us that underlining message that despite your situation, there is always hope in trying. And while it may not work out, one still has to be in a position then to try to change whatever happens in our life. Let's look at the plot at a glance. The mother is poor and she lives at the edge of the forest with her 3 sons. There is gros-jean, who is the strongest of the family, or some people may call him gros-jean, but gros-jean, he is the strongest of the family. Mijan, who is the would-be intellect, and then there is Tijan, the intuitive hero. Each son is different. Each of these 3 boys are different, and each of them goes out into the world to seek fortune. But as the world would have it, and as we know it, there is evil in the world, and each son encounters this evil. The evil comes in the form of the devil. Now, the devil offers the goodies, right? He offers a contest. And for everything that we do in life, there is always a good and a bad side to it. And this is exactly what Walcott presents to us. He offers a good side where the devil, in this case, presents a contest. And the contest it appears to be a simple challenge on the surface. Now, whoever makes the other party angry first win. And this is simple, right? But it's not quite that simple. You see, the stakes are high in this game, as the devil gets to devour the loser. But if one of the brothers were to win, then he would collect the devil's gold and get one of his wishes fulfilled. The older brothers, gros-jean and mijan, tries desperately to win, but they lose to the devil. Of course, they become frustrated, which is understandable. The impossible task gets the better of both brothers, and Walcott introduces humor to show the additional frustration of the boys. With gros-jean, the devil constantly calls him by a different name and asks him also to count the leaves of the canes in the field. Now, this is really impossible, and it would be next to impossible and frustrating, but at first gros-jean maintains his balance, and he does so for a while, but it helps to frustrate the brother even as he makes several attempts to correct the devil. For mijan, on the other hand, the unending task of capturing the goat proves to be the limit. But he continues to try at first, which would tell us too that perseverance is an important factor as we go through life. Walcott shows us that both boys have persevered to an extent. And mind you, perseverance doesn't always last long if you are not careful and if you are not mentally strong. And so these two boys actually became the victims of the devil. As the play progresses, we meet Ti-Jean, and he is the youngest brother. And here, I believe Walcott tries to show us that age does not matter, and age should not be a factor in where we go in life. You see, it's the youngest brother, who uses his strategic wit to create a simple and effective means of frustrating the devil. Ti-Jean does not try to wrestle the impossible task. He doesn't take them head on as his brothers would have done, with anger, frustration, and with that thought of knowing exactly what to do. Instead, what he does is that he eliminates his problems. He castrates the devil's goat, and that he could not tie. Then he kills it. And to add humor to the serious issue, Walcott shows that Ti-Jean actually makes a meal of curried goat from the goat that his brothers earlier could not capture. Now, Ti-Jean doesn't count the leaves of the cane in the fields as gros-jean was expected to do, but instead he lights the canes and set fire to the field. Finally, he burns the devil's house to the ground. Now, his head-on attack of the challenges that he's given is important because it shows a different kind of strength coming from the youngest brother. He doesn't try to figure out how to change what is there. He instead tries to eliminate whatever problems are in front of him. And this is what makes his strategy so much different from the. Of course, these acts would frustrate the devil, and as the game and the challenge and the contest would suggest, whoever becomes frustrated first or furious is the one who loses. In the process, of course, the devil loses his wits in the final battle, and Ti-Jean becomes the winner. He gets his prize of the devil's gold, and his wish is fulfilled. This wish is that Bolum would get his life. And the fact that he wishes for Bolum's life is very important. Continue to stay tuned to this video and see what it really means. Now, understanding the significance of the play, and we will get to Bolum's significance in just a bit. There are several levels to understanding the play. First of all, it's a simple folk tale that is presented to show the dialect and the culture of the West Indian people. The play is also a metaphysical verse with music. And thirdly, the play can be seen as a black parable that incites the anti-white revolution. Very simple, isn't it? Many of you may not agree with all these views, but the truth is that here is a further explanation. The characters and the devil are symbolic of the society and the issues of colonialism in many ways. The devil resolves to destroy the family, and this is clear in the 3 encounters with the brothers. He first appears to gros-jean as Papa Bois. The forked tail, wrinkles, and the cloven hairy foot are all hidden under his long sackcloth skirt, and this symbolizes that there are devious people who will hide their truthful nature from others in the hope of suppressing someone. In addition, the creature in this case is a part of a folklore of the St. Lucian culture. Very simple. Now, the devil as a metaphysical force might be a little bit more tricky for you to get, but if you really look at it though, the devil appears as a prince of obscurity, meaning that he hides himself. But underneath that hidden nature, he longs to possess human emotion, as he is tired of his immortality. He also wants to be in love and have children and face worries of his own. Hence, he becomes a metaphysical force here. The devil as a colonial force. The devil appears as a white planter who lives in a great house. His estates include cane and cotton. And here this represents the era of slavery. And when Tijan calls on the workers to burn the field, this can also be connected to the Black Power Revolution, which swept across the United States at the time that the play was performed. And so we see the colonial elements coming out in the play. Now there are other interpretations to the play. The three brothers could also symbolize the different movements of the generations throughout the history of the West Indies. Gros-jean at first is symbolic of the brawny generation that existed after slavery and that which accepts everything that his iron arm cannot master. In other words, he comes from a generation that believes in the strength, the physical strength of an individual, and that this physical strength could get you to counter any and to conquer any obstacle that comes your way. Mijan, on the other hand, is symbolic of the educated idiot. In other words, he teaches himself to know, but at the same time, he doesn't truly know. And this is also integrated into the middle class who is ignorant of what is happening in his culture, his personal culture, but instead tries to explore other cultural values without trying to explore his own personal culture. Finally, Tijan represents the current generation, the present generation, and holds over whatever evil that exists within him. In other words, Tijan represents the generation that combines Gros-jean's attitude along with Mijan. They're educated, they have physical strength, and at the same time they overcome whatever obstacles come their way without even trying to get around anything else. In fact, they eliminate the problems instead of trying to change the problems. Additionally, Tijan begs for Bolum's life, and this is significant because he embraces the socio-political context of the society, even as Bolum tells him, "Save your country, Tijan, without me you cannot exist." Another explanation here is for the colonialism theme is that the play itself represents a struggle against colonialism and the final victory, which is shown through Tijan. Bolum tells him, "Save your country," which right away tells us that the play is not just a simple folklore. Instead, it is more of the colonial powers that stifled, that repressed, that oppressed the blacks, and therefore Tijan would have to save this culture. Now, let's look more at colonialism. The three brothers represent different struggles against colonialism and the colonial system. They are in fact symbolic of those who have tried different strategies against the colonizers. The devil represents the evils of colonialism, and his role as a devil shows a contrast to God. Bolum also represents the struggle through colonialism, as he is symbolic of the restraints of tyranny and colonialism. He is supposedly strangled at birth by his mother, which suggests that the white masters would foil or destroy any new forms of resistance by the blacks from an early stage. Tijan outwits the devil, who is disguised as a planter, and brings Bolum to life. In essence, he brings to life new hope and a united strength that would pave the way for the blacks to truly rise against the white supremacy. Now, the views expressed in this video, these are just the views of one person. Please ensure that you read other sources, that you also listen to what your teachers have to say, and add all of this source to what is presented here. Thank you for watching, and please come again. I hope you can like, subscribe, share, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, and let me know what else you would want me to discuss by way of these videos. Thanks for stopping by.